Hello everyone, this is Berserker speaking. In this video I am trying to assess the viability of the trait combination Blood Inscriptions with Illusionary Inspiration in roaming scenario, and in particular in party roaming scenarios. The first clip shows solo capabilities of the build with the use of the key traits, for example Blinding Dissipation, which is one of the crucial roles of this build in terms of control. Okay, so for example you meet a typical Shatter Mesmer or a typical Burst Thief or even a Grenade Engineer. The damage they're going to inflict is insane, but if you blind them, the damage will be 0. Blinding Dissipation, in effect, is a trait which changes the role of your shatters. You do not shatter for pure damage, you shatter for utility, for control of disabling an opponent's nuke. This seems to be one of the most underrated traits, and I would take it over Fencer's Finesse anytime. Signet Heal allows me to put very high pressure. I can always cast another Phantasm. If it's a Warlock, the Phantasm deals horrendous damage. Okay, but if I use Signet of Ether actively, then when do I heal? The answer? Restorative Mantras combined with Mantra of Destruction. This and quite a lot of regen coming from the Inspiration line gives the build quite nice sustain in normal scenarios. And because of Signet Heal, I'm back to Deceptive Evasion. To put it simple, I need clones to feed the Signet and to shatter properly. As you can see, in 1v1 scenario this build can carry on quite well. The sample is poisoned by the guard stacks. I have them while my opponent doesn't, but in general this is how you fight Shatter Mesmers. Put a lot of pressure and blind whenever you can. Okay, so this is a funny one. It's our first proper roaming session with Drew, that is after the patch hit, because earlier on we were matched with the servers without many opponents to face. And here we are, we went in with the old style of YOLO, we've got portal, we can escape. And surprisingly, 4 to 5 people were enough to annihilate us in very short time. So the damage really increased, and that's a good thing for me. That is, enemies have to dodge now. So yeah, staying in melee as a Berserker Mesmer in close combat scenario might not be the wisest choice. Earlier on stuff compensated, but not anymore. So that is a very important thing to know. Knowing that, I readjusted while defending the Briar from enemy forces. This fight starts as a 4 versus 4, but we are coming one by one and enemies are grouped. So the high-level plan, as usual, is to put a single Mesmer, that is me, so I go in guns blazing, blinding and doing all the mesmery stuff, and maybe some damage too, to pierce their line, so they focus on me, I port away and return with mass invisibility, as usual. And as you can see, the amount of survival I have on this build is enough for this to work. Now, Talvani didn't have so much luck in this fight, because enemies used the bugged Grenadier Engineer, so his grenade dealt more or less 1 million and 3 damage. And this here is another thing worthy mentioning. However cruel it sounds, if Talvani died over there, it wouldn't change the battle. That is, no one would rally of him. In the previous world, people were dying rarely. It was a very sustained fight. In this one, we stomp someone, but enemies still deal enormous damage. They are able to turn the fight anyway. So, although it sounds contradictory, it puts even less of a pressure on particular players. Because if you die, you simply die. By the way, note, in this fight we fight too far away from each other, so Signet of Inspiration was completely useless. Well, aside the random distortion. Okay, so previous fight and this one are typical fights we are having usually. We play in very irregular playstyle, we don't keep close together and we simply play whatever classes we have. This is why I look very closely at the Signet of Inspiration, that is the random Signet of Inspiration which procs every 24 seconds, assuming I will cast a Phantasm. If you read the captions you will notice I write every occurrence of Signet of Inspiration proccing. Now the problem is the first proc has no impact at all, because I don't have any boons to share. So I've got a boon share build which does not have any boons to be able to share it. So for this to truly work properly, we would either have to play in a more close formation, so I get some boons from others and they will get them from me again, or I would have to generate more boons and change the playstyle completely, like for example enter Chaos Storm, wait inside Chaos Storm and cast Warlock from there. But something like this would require more cooperation and coordination than we usually have. Kind of a similar situation is with Distortion Passing. It hits in dungeons, it hits in SPVP 2 vs 2s, 3s vs 3s, but it has problems in scenarios like this one. So, in a way, I have designed a build which works for the SPVP fights, but might require some improvements in World vs World in the playstyle we are using and we are having. I cannot stress this enough. This build works, and this build works quite well, but for slightly different players and slightly different playstyle. Because at this moment everything is very new, changing the playstyle would require quite a lot of investment from me. which means for now I'm going to put this particular family of builds on hold. Next experiment will use Furious Interruption and Mental Defense trait from Inspiration Grandmaster, because quick raising, quick stomping is very good thing to have. It would give me some burst damage I don't have right now, and Defender should boost defensive capabilities of a team, and in the worst case, simply be one clone to shatter. In conclusion, to use Signet of Inspiration better, we need to hug each other more. And with this optimistic thought, thank you for watching, and Oxalis out.